Alright guys, and welcome back to the Saints View, the channel for some of the content for our first transfer rumour roundup of the summer. The transfer window is officially open, meaning Southampton can go and buy new players and also let faces leave the club. However, in this video we're not going to talk about some of the players who could be leaving or are leaving the club throughout the summer. We're just going to have a little roundup of some of the names that have been linked with a move to the South Coast, gathering all the key facts, information, stats, figures, etc. as Southampton look to strengthen their side ahead of the new Premier League season. Just before we get into it though guys, please go and subscribe if you're new. Go follow us on our socials as well. Right, let's get into the video. Starting off with the man that should be familiar to all of you watching it from the thumbnail and in the title, Adam Lallana this week, ex-Southampton player, has been linked with a move back to the club where he started his career from Liverpool. Now it's been reported by the Express this week that Lallana would be open to a move back to the South Coast and could be available for around £30 million, which sounds like a little bit of a bargain when you think that the club got £25 million from Liverpool in summer 2014 when he did leave the club. And this week I think it's fair to say there's been a lot of disagreement amongst Southampton Twitter and sort of online regarding this potential transfer. Some fans thinking that we shouldn't be taking him back given the way he left the club. Some fans obviously disagreeing with that and thinking that he would be a quality addition. I'm probably stood in the middle of that. I couldn't care less about the way he left because obviously if we came in we would be getting a quality player. However, I don't believe we should be looking first of all at midfielders at all. I think we're quite strong in that position, arguably our strongest position out of the 3-4 departments that we could be looking to invest in throughout the summer. And also the fact that he's 31, yes, he'd be adding some quality, but how long would he be staying? 1 season, 2, 3 at best? You know, I don't think we'll get too much out of him, and £30 million, yes, at the moment it sounds like a decent deal, especially meaning that we'd make a profit on him from the move a couple of years ago when he did go to Liverpool. But I don't really see the point in it, in all honesty. I've got no sort of prejudice against how he left the club. It's nothing to do with that. It's more about the fact that we don't really need him, in my opinion. Obviously, I think overall his tenure at Liverpool has been quite successful. This season just gone hasn't. However, he hasn't really played too much of a part in the title-chasing Liverpool side under Jurgen Klopp. Only 5 starts in the Premier League, I believe. A handful of appearances in and out of the Cup and Europe. Injury hasn't really helped him either. But for me, I'm not too keen on this transfer. If it happens, then I'll accept it. I'll welcome him back because he'll be our player again. But I don't really see the necessity of bringing in another midfielder, especially someone like Adam at his age. Moving on to the other man who is in the thumbnail and title, Ademola Lookman, 10 years younger than Lallana at 21 years of age. And he's been linked for the last couple of months. It's not just this window and sort of this week that we've been linked with a move for Lookman. Currently at Everton, signed back in January 2017. Did okay, scored on his debut against Man City, but hasn't really featured under Marco Silva this season. But I think the clear link for him and Southampton is the Ralph Hasenhuttl factor. He spent the second half of the 2017-18 season on loan at Ralph Hasenhuttl's RB Leipzig side, being very successful there, scoring 5 goals and making 4 assists in just a handful of Bundesliga appearances, making him a real promising purchase if we are to go for him. It's still at 21 years of age. He can play winger or even sort of central attacking midfield role, and will clearly add some creativity that at times we've been lacking this season. You can argue that he hasn't really done it for Everton, and so he won't do it for Southampton in the Premier League. Well, he hasn't really been given the chance, let's be honest. Like I just said, he hasn't really featured for Marco Silva this season at Everton, and before that, what was it, Ronald Koeman, Sam Allardyce didn't really get a look in either. So I think if he was to come to Southampton, he'd definitely be one of the first choices to start. Obviously he's got that link with Ralph Hasenhuttl, who knows how to get the best out of him, clearly, because if he had involvement in 9 goals in just half a season, very, very solid player who has a lot of promise. So for me, I think this is very interesting. It's been reported by the Telegraph, I believe, around £20 million. So personally, I think that's much more of a good investment than Lallana would be, because we're investing in a very young player who can still add a lot of quality to our forward line and obviously make us a bit more of a threat going forwards come next season. Moving on to another winger slash attacking midfielder who is very young, 20 years of age, Moussa Djenepo, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, playing for Standard Liège in the Belgian Super League at the moment. And for me, it looks another promising buy. Josh, who's a new member of the TSV team, go check out his Twitter. He put on his Twitter a screen recording of Djenepo's most recent Instagram post where he liked a comment saying Southampton, so it looks inevitable that he actually will be joining us. And even the Standard Liège manager did announce that there's been a £20 million bid from Southampton. That's quite hard for the club to refuse. Now, this story was reported by HITC, bringing it to England, but originally had been brought out by a Belgian newspaper. And like I say, it's not the first time that Djenepo has been linked with a move down to Southampton. It's very clear to me that he's got talent. However, it kind of feels like deja vu with this one, in the sense that it's a lot of money for a young player who hasn't really proven himself playing in a lower quality league. Coming into the Premier League, will he be able to fit? I'm not too sure. However, I think if anyone can, it will be under Ralph Hasenhuttl, who can bring the best out of him. This season he has recorded 11 goals and 6 assists in all competitions for Standard Liège. So when you think of the quality of the league, it's not fantastic. However, again, he's 20 years of age. I think under Hasenhuttl he could look like a real threat. I've seen a couple of scout videos on YouTube for him. He's clearly got a couple of tricks back up his sleeve. So for me, I think it would be an exciting signing, one we'd obviously have to get behind, because like I say, if anyone's going to be able to coach him to his full ability, I think it will be Ralph Hasenhuttl. Now moving on to a striker who hasn't really been strongly linked with a move to Southampton, has been picked up by German newspaper Blick that Southampton are interested in Benfica striker Haris Seferovic. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Obviously, if I'm not, let me know in the comment section below. Now, as opposed to Lookman and Djenepo, Seferovic is closer to his prime. 27 years of age, and he scored 27 goals this season for Benfica as they went on to win the Portuguese Premier League. It looks like a real prospect for me. I think he'd be probably one of the type of striker that we've been craving for quite a while now. I think obviously Danny Ings has been excellent, and he'll be a good addition to the side when his move is permanent. But it sounds like the goals that this guy can get, or has gotten the past season, makes him the player that we do need. Obviously he won't be getting 27 goals in the Premier League unless he is fantastic, but Ralph Hasenhuttl can make him a very good striker that can sort of cope with the Premier League, and hopefully make him sort of a 15 goal a season player that we've been looking for the last 3 seasons now. Obviously, like I say, it's only been reported by a German newspaper, so it's not a strong link, and it does sound like Everton are interested as well, which usually means that we won't get there ahead of the Merseyside club, but hopefully we can. It sounds like a very good buy, and if we can get what I'd imagine would be a £25 million player, that'd be a massive statement for the club. Finally, just to wrap up, another striker who's been linked quite a few times over the last 6 months since Ralph Hasenhuttl came in, that is Jean-Kevin Augustin. He's still at RB Leipzig and did play under Ralph Hasenhuttl very successfully, must be said, scoring 9 goals and assisting 4 times for Leipzig in Hasenhüttl's final season at the club. And this season had been pretty much the opposite, scoring just the 3 goals this season, and he's not really fancied by the current RB Leipzig manager, and it looks inevitable that he will be looking for a move away from the club this summer. At just 21 years of age, he's a very good asset if we do want to go for him. A lot of promise, and could be available for around £17 million, which inevitably could be quite a cheap buy if we play our cards right and put him in his suitable role, which does sound to be like striker. Apparently he can play on either wing or more of a central role behind the striker in a more midfield attacking base, but it does sound like striker is his main position, and that's probably where we'd have to put him. But with quite a few of the players over the last few years who have been linked with moves to Southampton, also linked with a move to Everton as well as Leicester. Now, moves to Everton and Leicester have been more strongly linked. However, it does seem like the Ralph Hasenhuttl factor could work into our advantage if the links start to get a bit stronger, and maybe Southampton even put an offer in for the player. For me, I think, again, this one looks promising. We just have to play our cards right. Hopefully we don't have to overpay for him, and it looks like Ralph Hasenhuttl will be able to use his sort of links, I guess, and connections to bring players that he has managed before, you know, like I mentioned previously in the video, Lookman, and in this case Augustin. So hopefully we can sort of use our manager to get us some real quality added to our squad ahead of next season. Thank you very much for watching, guys. That is the end of the video. If you have enjoyed it, remember to leave it a like. Of course, subscribe if you're new. Let us know what you think about any of the rumours. Should we be looking at these players? Are there other players that we need to be looking at instead? Which is the main position you think we need to prioritise this summer in the window? Let us know in the comment section below, and we'll see you very soon.